Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast.
Okay, all right. So this video, I'll be going through a Ledger Nano setup, a complete beginning to the end Ledger Nano setup, so that you know exactly how to configure these things now, and you'll see all the issues that I'll go through and debug and solve as well, which can become quite annoying for a lot of people. I'm getting a lot of support requests in regards to getting these things working properly across Yoroi, Daedalus, and all sorts of things. I know there are a lot of videos out there, but they don't quite cover some of these issues that you may come into when you're actually doing this. So this is a Ledger Nano which was purchased back in 2017 and was never actually ever synchronized. It wasn't used, it wasn't set up. So this will have some problems in that the firmware is out of date and none of the apps would be installed that we need. And in this case, we're setting up for Cardano. So we need the Cardano app on this, and we need to update the firmware, and we need to download the Ledger Live and everything else as well. So it's going to be a bit of a process to go through. Now, I do have all of the notes and stuff that will be on our website here. You can get to it under the blog area, and you can find all of our tutorials, podcast episodes, and everything else behind that as well. So please make sure you check that out if you want to follow step by step. All the links will be in there. Okay, so like I said, this is a brand new Ledger Nano. Well, not brand new, it's an old one since 2017, but it hasn't been taken out of the box. So this is literally the first time I'm popping it. Okay, it's not coming out. Okay, that's the very first time it's ever been out of its packaging there. We still have the cable ties on all the cables, and that's the little like hand thingy, you attach it onto there and you can swing it around in circles, whatever you want to do with it. There's some more attachments for it. So I don't know if the Ledger has changed since its release back then, but this is essentially what you get in the kit. The Ledger Nano itself, a couple of little attachments, a little keyring thing, and the data transfer USB cable. Now, this cable is actually quite important. It's different to some of the cheaper cables that you get for USB devices. It's a USB mini, if you can see that. Not quite in focus. And it's a data and power transfer cable. So it will transfer data and will transfer power to the device. So if you're using a cheaper cable that is for the USB minis, that is only power only, so you're using it to charge a device, it won't work with the Ledger because it's not transferring data. So you need a higher quality cable. And that is one of the problems that I came across. I was using a cheap cable thinking that would work. It doesn't. You need the proper one that comes with the Ledger itself, or another one that is high quality in itself. So one that you might use for this audio recording device I have on my desk here. So it transfers power and data. Okay, so the first thing first, let's get into the app that we need downloaded to synchronize anything on the Ledger itself. So if we go over here and we go to the Ledger website itself, now there are fake Ledger websites, so please be careful when you're going through and downloading the software. It's at ledger.com, the hardware wallet. So we'll download this here from Ledger Live. And I'm doing this on a Windows machine. So I've done it previously on my old Ledger, which is this one here. It's all like set up with its dangly bits. And it's totally fine on the Mac, but people have been having issues on the Windows machines, and we'll go through that in a moment. So they give you some warnings here on the Ledger site. So was the shrink wrap around your product missing when you received it? Now, this is really important because people sell these secondhand, and you can see the shrink wrap is missing from this one because I've opened it. Now, if I was to sell this to someone else, I could have tampered with it. I can tamper with it. I can actually set it up with the seed phrase already done, which is the seed phrase on the device itself. I could give it and sell it to someone else, and then when I see that person's using it and using the device, then I can empty the wallet. So think about that. Make sure you're buying it from a reputable place. Make sure the shrink wrap is on it, and make sure that you're probably just buying it from the ledger.com website itself. So there's some things you need to think about. Now, the second tip thing here, does the product display a PIN code screen on first power up? That's a really good indicator that the device has already been set up by someone else, because someone would have to set up a PIN. They may sell you the box again and have that PIN in there with the seed phrase, which they've used, and set up that PIN so that you will have to use that predefined and set up PIN. And that means the device has been compromised. Has the pre-filled recovery word in your box? Has been pre-filled? Has the list of pre-filled recovery words been put in the box? So this is the recovery phrase. Let me just zoom in and you can see that a little bit better. This is the recovery phrase parcel. I will just open that up. Trying not to damage it. There we go. It gives you a little bit of instructions of why and what it is. This is brand spanking new. It's quite nice. That's one of the cards. This is you call that a get starting guide? That's terrible. There's nothing there. It's all on the internet anyway, so it doesn't matter. And this is the recovery sheet phrase. So this is the piece of paper where you'd write down your seed phrase. Now there's better ways of doing this. A little sheet of metal, if I can find mine. I'm not going to show you a used one, but this little piece of metal is what I use to write down all my seed phrases. So I've got multiple ones of these. It's literally just a piece of aluminium, which is absolutely fantastic. You can pick it up for a dollar or two at a hardware store. Then you get a little graver or a letter puncher, and you can write down all your seed phrases on there. So these burn at like 2000 degrees Celsius. So it should survive a house fire. So if your house burns down, you still can crawl through the rubble and recover your millions on your seed phrase recovery device, which is your cheap $2 and mask, your cheap $2 piece of metal. So that's a good way of keeping this in case your house burns down. Okay, so that's the recovery phrase. We can see that it is not used. It's brand new. It smells brand new even. You can't smell it. But yeah, we'll get into setting this up. So let's download the Ledger Live software. Now, where is it? So it's not the Ledger Live app, mobile app. That's for a Ledger Nano X. So this is a Ledger Nano S. That's one of the original ones. So it needs a USB cable. So we'll download the Ledger Live app for Windows. And I may speed this up because you don't need to watch the installation process of a app, nor do you need to see how slow my internet is. Almost there. Great, so that's downloaded. I'll open this app to get installed. Yes, on the Windows. Yeah, we do want to install this. It's good to check here, like is it coming from the verified publisher? So verified publisher, Ledger SAS. So that's the company that makes it. So we're definitely downloading the right one. It's a extra little checks that you can do, which helps with those couple of things. Now I'll just switch screens again. So it gets a little bit messy, but let's continue with this installation process. I'm just going to go through and do the default installation in terms of folders, but if you are customizing your computer a little bit more and you like things organized in a different way, you can. All right, so that's it there, and I'm going to click Finish and get this app up and running. Okay, so I'll swap screens again, and I now have the Ledger application up and running. So I'll just go through the setup process here and get started. So obviously we need to accept the terms of use and privacy policy. There are a lot of things to go through. It's probably worth a little read. Now, these are the separate different devices that we can set up. The Ledger Nano S is the basic device, which is the USB enabled one. So you need to, that's the one that we're setting up now with the USB cable. The Nano X is the Bluetooth version. So you'll be able to hook up your Bluetooth device to your phone as well. So this will connect to your phone and you can do transactions that way. So if you're more inclined to do things on a mobile device, the Nano X would have been more suitable for you. But I prefer the good old PC and the USB device. Now the blue comes with a full interactive display. I think they stopped selling those for a while. I'm not sure. I haven't seen them around. I don't know anyone with them. The battery didn't last as long as what you would expect it to. You still had to plug it in. So it's a bit of a different device. And if you want to check out more, you can find out more information about it on the website. But my preference is the Nano S. It's the cheapest and it works and is just as secure as any of the other ones. So let's go and set up the Nano S. Right, so well, they've got a little step-by-step process there. I'm going to skip a couple of these things. Now, I don't have a recovery phrase. Now, you can buy multiples of these. So if you're, that's why I have multiples of these right now. If you ever lose this device, it gets destroyed or something happens to it, God forbid, you can restore it with your seed phrase that you'll create onto a new device. So that's a new one. That's the old one. And you can use a recovery phrase to restore it. So that's why this is here. So you can reboot everything and get access to your funds again. So it's a good thing to have. But we're going to set this one up as a first-time device, and I'm going to set it up for my partner. So let's go through step by step and set this up. So access your crypto. Yep, own your private keys. Stay offline. That's exactly what we want. Validate transactions. That's all we're going to do. And yep, let's set up in the Nano. Great. All right, best way to get started. Plan 30 minutes of time. All right, 30 minutes. Pen to write this down. Stay alone and choose a safe environment, quiet environment. Sure, why not? Why not just broadcast this and live stream it over the internet even? No, don't do that. All right, make sure you follow the instructions on this app and every step of the process. Now, it's really important that you do, because if you miss one of these, miss the seed phrase, one of those things, then kaput, you won't have access to it. So it's kind of important. All right, let's go through this. All right, turn on the Nano. So I've got a cable here already set up, and I will just plug in the device now. So let me just show you on the camera there. So the USB cable and the device, where is it? There we go. It should fit nice and snugly in there. And when you do, you get a little welcome screen. Isn't that nice? And then press to begin. So let's go. Press both buttons to begin. That's what it says. Welcome. All right, let's get into it. With the Ledger, use the side buttons are in use. Yeah, okay. So it's just going through a bunch of instructions on the device itself in regards to how to use it. So confirm it's a new device. So I'm just going to click yep. And now choose a pin. So you have to go through, set up the device. So this is that warning that we saw earlier. So if you get a device that has a pin already set up, that means someone has already done this and you don't want to use that device. So let's go choose a pin. And I'll just punch in a pin, which I obviously won't show you. All right, so it will give you, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Up to 8 characters on the device to set up a pin. And that last one, I could have created another character, I believe, but I decided that should be enough. Or maybe I'll put in one more. Then after that, press the 2 buttons together to confirm. 2 buttons across the top. Confirm that you're done. Now we confirm the pin, so it's a double-step process. Make sure you actually know and remember the pin. So I'm just going to punch in the pin again. Now, one of the really cool things, which I can't show you in this process, is that when you go through and put in the pin, the pin numbers there, the next number that comes up is a random number. So from 0 to 9, it will be a random number. So if you put in, let's say 7, the next number that will come up and display might be a 3 or 4, or it's not sequential. So it will come up with random orders of numbers that will show in the next one. So it's never just 0, 0, 0. So it's trying to prompt you to not make your password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. which is good. All right, so now we're up to the write down the recovery phrase part of this process. So this is that little card that you've got there, and we will have to write down the recovery phrase. Obviously, I cannot show you all of this process because it is going to give you access to my device. So we're up to there. I'm going to press the 2 buttons at the top to confirm and go to the next one. And now what it is going to show you, let's see if I can recover this up so you can not see the recovery phrase itself. So there on the screen it says word 1. Now it's going to take me through 24 different words just like this. It will show me what the word is, and I need to write that down. And it will go through the 24 word process, and then I have to type back in on the device those 24 words to prove that I've written it down and it is stored on the card. And then I have to remember not to show you this card. So let's go and start this process. And hopefully we don't stuff it up. Okay, so I've written down the 24 word phrase on my recovery sheet, not showing you the incorrect size. Now we'll go through the next part. So I've gone through all the words on the device. I've double clicked the 2 buttons at the top, or single press both buttons at the same time. And now I'm going to confirm the recovery phrase. I can never get this centered in the camera correctly. There we go. So step 4 of that process. All right, so I'll double press the top buttons. Okay, so what it's doing now, which I can show you, it will ask me for a random word in my list. Secret word number 17. Select word 17. So under that, it will give me a couple of options. I don't know how many options, and then I have to confirm which word is number 17. So checking on my list, yep, that's it. 1, 2. Okay, it gives you a lot of options, so it's you can get it wrong. So I'll just go through this. What is it? I've done these videos before where I'm actually blurting out the password or whatever I'm writing down on the video. So I'm very conscious and aware of it now. So that's it there. Okay, so that's one word. So the next word that it's asking me for, I just got to find which one it is. Okay, so it's asked me for 2 to confirm 2 of them. Now it's going through a process. It says processing, and now your device is ready. Fantastic. That was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be, a lot quicker. I had vague recollections where you had to go through the entire seed phrase process and get every single word down, but maybe that's not the case. So I'll just click on next. Great, okay, and we're done. So Windows is showing me that my device, it's just beeped at me and saying that the device is already installed. And let me just show you what's pre-installed on the device. So if we look at that, you can see the Bitcoin app is already installed. Settings, let's go the other way. Ethereum's already installed on there. The FIDO UTF is installed on there as well. I have absolutely no idea what that is. I'll find out in a moment. And then the settings area of the app, and then Bitcoin again. Cool. So that's essentially what comes on the app installed. Again, this is a 2017 device, so it may be completely different to what you may get now. Okay, so back to the desktop. The Ledger is still doing its thing here, so I'm going to click next now. I've gone through this setup process, set up a device, and followed the instructions. So let's go next. Your PIN codes, first layer security in physical security measures, blah, blah, blah. Okay, your PIN is 4 to 8 digits long. So that's the PIN that I set up on the device itself. Okay, so I can now connect it and confirm the PIN, choose PIN, confirm. I think this is essentially, this is essentially going through that entire process that I just did. So I can skip through a lot of these bits and pieces here because I've done it and walked you through it. So let's skip through that. Yep, recovery sheet, I have done that. That is on my sheet as it is. And then confirmed it all. So here it says repeat all words. I didn't have to repeat all words in my setup process. Okay, so hide it. Don't show it on a live stream or anything like that. And never share it with anyone. So it's your safe and secure access to your crypto assets. All right, I'm done. Now, game on. Let's take a quiz. Really? All right, let's see how it go here. Okay. As a Ledger user, my crypto is stored On my ledger? On my Nano? On my blockchain? Okay, well, my crypto isn't stored on the device itself. It's only my secret keys that are stored on the device, and that gives me access to my crypto, which is stored on the blockchain. Hey, I might actually know something. Okay, if my recovery phrase is no longer secure or private, no problem, Ledger can send me it. No. Okay, my crypto is no longer safe and I need to transfer them to a secure place. That's it. So if anyone gets access to your recovery phrase, or they've seen it, or they've played around with it, it's no longer private, it's pretty much compromised. It's they might be one of those people that have a photographic memory and they've just memorized every 24 words on your seed recovery phrase, and it's essentially theirs. So if it ever gets compromised like that, you can consider your Ledger Nano compromised and you will need a new one and go through the setup process again, transfer everything out, and away you go. So my crypto is no longer safe and I need to transfer them to a secure place. That is correct. Great. Last one, I think, 3-question quiz. When I connect my Nano to the Ledger app, my private key is still offline, briefly connected to the internet. Your secure key is always on your device and is always offline. It only interacts with it when you do a transfer, and you're only signing a transfer certificate with the hardware device. So it actually never leaves your device. It is by far the most secure way of storing your crypto assets. So it is still offline. Congratulations. Finish quiz. Is that it? I was hoping for more. Come on. Bring it on. Anyway, I'm glad I got through that, and I'm glad you all saw that as well. I've given you all the answers. Probably a good thing if you just review some of those yourself. All right, so already a pro. Great, fantastic. Let's go to the next step. Check that's genuine. We'll verify whether your Nano is genuine. This should be quick and easy. All right, cool, thank you. So this is one of those tamper tests, and this will start the managing process with your ledger as well. So you can see here, I'll just switch cameras again. There we go, so you can have a better look there. Allow Ledger Manager. So we're allowing it to access the Ledger Nano so we can see what's actually physically on the device. So I just click that tick option and we are all good. Fantastic. So that means our ledger is finally set up. It's ready to go. I think that's well under 30 minutes with writing down the seed phrase as well and taking the quiz. So let's go continue. And we are good. So we have officially set up our Ledger Nano, but because this is an old one, there's so much more we need to do actually. So let's click on Manage. So this is the first step that we need to do to start managing what's actually on this device. And we also need to install the Cardano app on here. All right, so here we are. So first off, the thing that you see up here is firmware version 1.6.0 is available, and my firmware is 1.3.1. Now this will update from time to time, so you need to check what firmware update it is at on the website, compare it to what you got here, or just load up the Ledger Live app and get it updated. So that's the very first thing that we need to do. I'm going to update the firmware. All right, so it's telling us that we need to uninstall some various apps. So I'm going to go back and uninstall the apps that we have installed at the moment. Now, I don't think I can actually connect to it, so it should say which apps not installed, all installed. Okay, Ledger Live supported, install. So it's actually not detecting which apps I have installed, because I know I have Bitcoin, Ethereum, and that other one. I can't remember what it was, but it should say that it's actually installed. So it's not detecting that it's installed at the moment, probably because the firmware is so out of date. So I'm just going to update this and go through the process of upgrading the firmware. Okay, so now it's downloading the firmware and actually transferring it to the device itself. It's fairly quick. You can see it's processing there as well. Great. So now that's my identifier, and it will ask me to confirm that what I'm seeing on screen is what I'm seeing on the hardware device, and it will ask me to accept this process and gives me a little tick. So I don't know if you can see the little tick there. I'll just go tick. I will need to enter in my PIN. Great, so now it's going through the update process there. Cool, so it's finalizing. And on the device, it's just telling me to follow the instructions. So just a little bit more to go, and I should be good and ready with this. Okay, finalize. Disconnect the USB from the device. So disconnect. There we go. Press the left button and hold it while you reconnect the USB cable until the bootloader screen appears. So that's this button here on the side, opposite from the cover. So I'm going to plug it in, hold it, and plug it in, and we'll see what happens. See, I don't remember doing this. So it's good to actually go through the process. All right, so I can see bootloader appearing now until the bootloader screen appears. Okay, so there we go, let go. So it's doing its bootloader update, which is great. Device isn't doing anything, it's just saying bootloader. MCU updating, no idea what that is. Okay, firmware updating, it's giving me a update notification on here as well, which is good. So it's working, it's going through its process. Now, like I said, you can check out all of our resources on our blog, cardanode.com.au. We also have a YouTube channel, which you may be watching this on, and also an audio podcast. They're all different. So please check them out if you want any more resources around Cardano, and anything around the ecosystem. We do quite a lot of content. Okay, so that looks like it's good and ready to go. So please reinstall the apps on your device. Right, gotcha. So I misread that. So in doing the firmware update will delete any of the apps. Now that's something important to note. So when you're doing a firmware update on these devices and your apps get uninstalled, it's okay, because those apps still store, even though they're not on the device itself, those apps, when you install them, will have your crypto assets from whatever it was. So if you had a whole bunch of Ethereum and Bitcoin and you had to delete all those apps, installing them again will restore those assets with it, because it's all on the blockchain. It's not on the device. Remember that. That was part of your quiz. All right, so let's go and reinstall our apps. It's telling me to reconnect the device, which is already connected. So I'm going to punch in my PIN now. Could I get any longer my PIN? All right, so I can see my apps here. I have nothing. I only have settings. So allow Ledger Nano to... Ledger Manager to control my device. Yes. 2 buttons. Gotcha. Got to follow the instructions. Ask me to press 2 buttons. All right, there we go. So now we're good. Hang on. There's more firmware to update. Don't you love that? Okay, so it only gave me a step up firmware upgrade, and there is still more firmware to be updated on the app. So firmware is outdated. There we go. It's just downloaded and updated my synchronization for it. So firmware is out of date, 1.6.0, and now version 2 is out. I bet you anything there's another one. So this is important as well, because it's stepping me through the firmware upgrades rather than just jumping me directly to the latest version. There may be things that need to have changed on the device in those steps. We saw this a lot in the good old days of content management systems, where if you jumped too many steps, something broke and something was missing in the middle. So anyway, that's okay. I have my recovery phrase. Let's do this all over again. See, a lot of the videos don't show you this, because you don't have to go through this like long-winded process of upgrading a old Ledger Nano from 2017. Imagine if you had one of these from 2017 and you stored all your assets back then, and you're checking your accounts, you completely got out of the crypto markets, but you thought, oh, let's just check it out. I think you'd be quite happy. The last bull run has done quite well. At the time of recording this, Bitcoin's price is at 49,895. Ethereum's at 3,200. $953, and ADA is just under $3. It did hit the all-time high over $3. It's now $2.95. Okay, so I may scrub and hide these identifiers up there, but it's now telling me to go through the firmware upgrade process on the app. So let's go version 2. There's my identifying keys. That's fantastic. Perform the upgrade. Yeah. Double buttons, punch in the pin code again. Right, so it has upgraded a bit. Gives me a little progress bar, which is a little bit different now, which is cool. I think that's done. That was quick. So now I've got to punch in my pin again. Okay, pin's done. There we go. Let's reinstall the apps. I have a feeling it's gone past version firmware upgrade 2.0, but we'll find out in a moment. All right, so allow the Ledger to manage my device again. Ledger Manager, that is, to manage my Ledger. Okay, all right, here we go. So is everything up to date now? Firmware is up to date. No more, yeah, nothing? All right, great, okay. Now we can install the Cardano ADA app. So now I've got a little bit of space already used by that FIDO U2F. I'm going to leave that there purely because I don't know what it is. Now I'm going to install the Cardano app here. It takes up 88 kilobytes. It's one of the larger apps. You can see Bitcoin only takes 40 kilobytes, Ethereum's 50, Cardano's 88. So now let's have a look at what I need to do next. Did I finish installing that app? I'll just check, go back up, do its thing. Great. Okay, so now on my Ledger, I should be able to see that. I'll just go through the app. There it is. There you can see the Cardano app is now installed on my Ledger. So now I can use the Yoroi browser app to start connecting to my Ledger Nano Cardano app to do transactions. So let's switch screens over to the browser and get into that part. Right, so I just did a quick Google for the Yoroi wallet website, and this is it here, Yoroi-wallet.com. Let's go to that, and we are going to install it for the browser. Now, I actually do already have it installed on my Brave browser, so we won't need to install it again, but I'll just take you through the process. I do have a video for this installation process and setting up the Yoroi wallet for the very first time as well on a browser, so you can get to it. And the link's in the top right-hand corner there. If I can point to it correctly, it's right at the very top. So we'll download it. We can download it for Chrome, Edge, Firefox, Android, and iOS. They're the mobile apps. But in our case, we are using the Brave browser, and that is a Chrome type of browser. So I'm going to click on Chrome. It will take me over to the Chrome Web Store, where I can see the app here. So it's, don't you love that? It's inconsistency in the domain name. So we're here on Yoroi-wallet, and here on the app web store page, it's Yoroi-wallet.com. I'm just going to click on that, see where it takes me. Okay, it's taking me to the same spot. So they need to clean up some of their metadata here and point that to the right direction. But we can look at some other things here. This app is installed by over 300,000 users. That's probably a conservative count. It's got almost 4.4 out of 5-star reviews, which is good. So we know we're on the actual right one. If you ever see fake apps, please report abuse and make sure they're taken down straight away. We're just verifying that we're installing the right one. The last thing we want to do is actually install it on an incorrect version that is fake, and then have our crypto assets stolen. Anyway, so like I said, I already have the Yoroi app installed, and here it is in all of its glory, blue and white color scheme. Now, what we want to do here is connect a hardware wallet. So we're going to connect our Ledger Nano. You can also get a Trezor. Let's click on that. Now, the only currency option that we have with the Ledger Nano is Cardano. Now, if you're setting up a Yoroi wallet on your own, you'll get another option down here that says Ergo. So that's for another cryptocurrency that the team work on. But in this case, Cardano, ADA, that's what we want. So we've got the two options here for what type of hardware wallet we want, and it is the Ledger hardware wallet. Now, the era thing always confuses people. Shelley era is the era that we're in at the moment. The Byron era, which I personally should be, I think should be hidden unless you click a little option so people don't get confused. We are in the Shelley era. We want the Shelley wallet. This is the one that allows you to stake. So that's definitely what we want. So Shelley era, great. Prerequisites, we need the app installed. I've taken you through that entire process. We've upgraded our device. It's all ready to go. So let's go next. I've connected it in. It still is connected to the app. It's loaded and is past the pin stage. So I'm up to the Cardano app process. So let's go connect. It's doing its thing. It will show me which one I want to connect to. I've got a Nano S. Oh, something unexpected has happened. And you know why this has happened? It is because I am still connected via the... I'm connected, but I don't have the Cardano app loaded. So this trips a couple of people up. And, you know, people have complained and, you know, they get confused. They don't know what's going on. So I'm going to open the app now until it gets to the point where it says waiting for commands. So I really have to get my shortcut keys open here, but it says waiting for commands. Oops. Uh-oh. What happened there? I'm out of the app. Okay. So I could hear a little beep, which meant my USB device got disconnected. So I'm going to load back into the Cardano app. There we go. Waiting for commands. That's what you want to see. Okay. Now this is an issue. I can hear my computer disconnecting my app. I'm going to disconnect this altogether. There we go. That little beep again. Don't know if you can hear that. And I'm going to load up my ledger again. Punch in my PIN. Great. I'm in the PIN. Load up the app. Waiting for commands. Let's go connect. Oh, okay. This is incredibly annoying. I can hear my computer disconnect my app. So this is some of those issues that people have all the time. Okay, all right. This is another issue as well. So this is something that's caught me up before, and I've gone bonkers trying to work out what's going on. Now, if I just switch cameras again, desktop 2, what's going on here? So I've got the Ledger Live app in the background trying to connect to my Ledger Nano while I'm trying to connect with the Yoroi. So this causes all sorts of confusion. So if you are trying to connect your Ledger to the Yoroi Ledger wallet, you need to close this thing down. You need to close it down so it's not interfering with the connection, because this takes priority. Let's get rid of that. There we go. So no, on the device, I do not want to connect to the Ledger Manager. Deny it. There we go. That's not supposed to be happening. That's why it wasn't working for us. That's why. Let's go back to my desktop now. Let's start this again. Click on the Ledger. Okay, so now I've got to open the app. Waiting for commands. Cool, it's still saying waiting for commands, so it might actually work this time. Connect. Ledger. Yes, there we go. Okay, so now it's telling me that on my device it will give me a little prompt, which it has. Export the public key. So this is showing the Yoroi wallet app my public key, so it knows which wallet to restore. So I go double click, confirm, yes, waiting for commands. Great. So, okay, let's do it again. Okay, it's now setting across my Byron era wallet. Yep, command, yes. So there's two parts. It's doing the first and the second. Now here, the first time I did it, I thought it crashed. It just takes time. That's all right. Be patient. So now I can give my wallet a name. I will just call it Yoroi Ledger. I'll put a 2 there so I know which wallet I'm dealing with because I already have one. So I go save. And we are done. That's it. That's the entire setup process of going through and setting up the Ledger, little lovely Ledger Nano to the Yoroi wallet app with a whole lot of bunch of bugs and issues that you may come across along the way. So that's absolutely fantastic that I did see those issues. Now, the next thing you need to do is you need to transfer some ADA over to the Yoroi wallet app here so that you can start staking for rewards. Now, I do have a little bit of ADA somewhere. Just happen to have it lying around. I just don't know where. Oh, okay, here we go. I was just trying to work out how I was going to do this because I've got my phone here on the stand, which is my webcam. And I had to take it off, destroy that whole process, and blah, blah, blah. So, and I'll click on send. So now I need an address. So if you're sending ADA from an exchange, this is a similar process that you will do. So you go click on receive, and you get your receiving address. Now these addresses constantly change. So I can go generate, and there we go. We've got a whole bunch of different addresses here. And each time you use one, it will generate another one. But you can reuse these old ones. So on an exchange, you have something called whitelisting. You go into Binance, you go into CoinSpot, you go on to Coinbase, whatever it may be. You'll copy one of these addresses and you'll add it to your address whitelist on your exchange. That will mean that you have to go through a double opt-in process. It may ask you to provide a PIN that comes onto your phone or onto your two-factor authentication device or to your email or to all of those aspects to verify that you can withdraw to this particular address. So I'm going to copy this latest one and somehow post it over to my other computer. Give me 1 second. I have nice ways of doing this. Nothing's showing on the screen, so there we go. Great, so now that I have that address copied over to my other device, I can now plug it into my other device over here and put it as a sending address. So if you're on an exchange, you'll be using that address, you'll be putting it into the details there to be sent to a receiver, which is this one here. This is the receiving address. So I'm just going to send 10 ADA. 10 ADA, there we go. Now it's calculating the fees on top of that. So the fees at the moment where I'm sending this is 0.19 ADA, rounded up a little bit. So I'm going to send 10.19 and go next, put in my sending path. And I am now sending. I just clicked on send, just put in that password, send. Now we should see this on the transaction screen here. So it may take a little while. Now at the time of recording this, the network is totally inundated. There's a lot of interest in Cardano at the moment and users are flooding the network and some of the resources and websites just can't keep up. So there's multiple different aspects and layers to it. So okay, my ADA's just come in. So there's multiple different aspects. Yoroi depends on another service from ADA pools for all of its stake pools that come up in the delegation process. Yoroi also depends on a whole bunch of cloud-based servers to actually provide this service. So sometimes it does go down and it is fairly slow. So each time that happens, Emergo, the company that creates the wallet, has to spin up more and more servers. It happens from time to time, and that's totally cool. It's a growing ecosystem, and if they're not prepared for it or don't know what's going on in the ecosystem, such as all these crazy NFT sales, they have to just spin up more servers just to cope with the demand. So that's where some of the bottlenecks happen at the moment. It's the Emergo with their cloud-based servers that the Yoroi wallet connects to, and the ADA Pools website, which shows the delegation list. And hopefully for this demo, it actually is working at the moment. Great, fantastic. Okay, so we can see that our ADA has come through. We can see that transactions come through as well. Now what, what does that? I've never seen a failed transaction before. Let's just refresh that and see if it's just because of a delay of the network. But those statuses, it might say low, medium, high. That's the verification of that transaction on the blockchain. So the stake pools out there would have had to, whatever stake pool was assigned for that split moment in time, would have created that block and recorded that transaction on the network. So let's go back to, okay, cool. It was just a network issue on the Yoroi wallet connecting to the blockchain. So that's it. So we're good, we're good. So we can see that we received that 10 ADA there. Okay, so now let's go to delegation and start delegating our ADA to a particular stake pool. In this demonstration, I'll show you our stake pool, ADAOZ, ADAOZ, ADAOZ. And there's us there. So you can check out our Twitter account, our Telegram, Facebook page, YouTube channel, Discord server, and also our website to find out more information about us. At the moment, our ROA is 4.64, which isn't too bad. It was closer to the 7% mark. It fluctuates over time because of the randomness of the protocol, and it will average out to 5.5. On our website, you can see the stats, and you can see how it's been tracking over time. It's doing quite well. Now, what I will do is I'll just load this up in ADAPools, open this tab here, and I'll show you some additional stats on this one. And we'll go performance. And I'll just go over a couple of these performance blips. So here you can see in the latest one here, in Epoch 286, we did have a dip, and that's because we were only assigned 5 blocks, which is a little unfortunate. But that happens from time to time. Our block count goes down, our block count goes up. Sometimes we get a really high epoch where we have 19 blocks, and then it goes down to a lovely, here we had 4, here we had 5. And then we go up to 12 again, and this epoch 288, we were only assigned 5 again. So it fluctuates, goes up and down. We're hoping for a stabilized period again, which is much easier to deal with. But anytime we get large ups like this, where we get 15 blocks, it goes down again. It's just the way the protocol works to try and even out that return on investment to be that nice, stable 5.5% as what the network needs. So if we click on blocks here, we see all the blocks that the pool has minted over a period of time. And what I want to show here is the rewards. So our pool, it's most likely to mint around that 10 block probability. But if we're assigned 4 blocks, we're all the way down here. And if we're assigned 19 blocks, we're all the way up here. So we have a 0.4% chance of getting 19 blocks, but we have minted 19 blocks in the past for a certain epoch. So you can see that fluctuation, and that's why you see those fluctuations in returns. And if we go down through our list here, you see those fluctuations in prices as well. So here, this epoch, we got 7.3, then 5.7, which is higher than the 5.5. Then it goes down, then it goes up, then it goes down, then we go up again above the 5.5. So we just get those waves, goes in and out, and you can see the return on it for our delegates as well. So we can see those really high returns, and then we get the low returns. But over a long period of time, it just averages out to that 5.5. Our delegates and performance is going gangbusters, which is fantastic. So this blue bar here, this blue bar is the amount of delegates that we're getting to the pool, people that have followed our content, our YouTube channel, our audio podcast, and all sorts of bits and pieces. And you can see the nice amount of growth here and the support that our stake pool is getting. So once we reach over that 1,000 mark, I think we'll be a little bit more stabilized. I hope, fingers crossed. It's just the journey of small stake pool operators. We go through these ebbs and flows, troughs and peaks, and it's just the way life is. It's just how it is. One day we'll get a little bit bigger, and we won't have to worry about these peaks and troughs anymore. Anyway, let's go back to Yoroi. So that's where these ROAs come from. This shows you how much ADA is delegated to the pool, and its average cost, or its defined cost. So the 0.00%, that's our variable margin. So every pool that is operating has a margin that they can charge. So this is a percentage of that total delegated rewards. So if we go back to the rewards page, so each epoch we get a certain amount of rewards that is sent to the entire pool. That percentage, that variable percentage rate, is taken out of that 7,560 ADA in that case. In this case, it was taken out of the 3.24K ADA. So we'll just take 2% off the top of that. So it's a variable percentage margin. The other fixed cost here, this is defined by the protocol itself. It's defined by Cardano, the Ouroboros system. It is 340 ADA, and that is taken out of that total rewards as well. So that goes to the operating cost of the servers, which is going up now because of smart contracts. You need beefier and bigger servers. So that's what those costs are. Now the average cost, now this is based on this total cost here, and how much of that is taken out of the total rewards for a particular pool. So we had to reduce this down so this number looks a little bit smaller, because a lot of people don't understand what this particular cost is. If you're a small delegate and you're only delegating under like 1,000, under 10,000 even, this average cost doesn't affect you too much, because your return, the difference on return is like 0.1 ADA or 0.2 ADA. If you're delegating millions, like 4 or 5 million ADA, this is when the variable cost and that average cost does make a difference. So a slightly larger pool with 0% margin is more beneficial for some of these larger delegates that delegate 5, 10, 20 million. So that's the difference there, and that's what that means. Our pledge, the amount of ADA that we actually have on our server and how dedicated we are to the ecosystem is this amount here, and it is 1 million ADA. Yep. One of our operator and owners and a really good part of the ecosystem is delegating that pledge for us to keep us going and get us going. And the amount of blocks. This is the performance of this particular epoch. So far, we've just switched over yesterday, and we've minted one particular block. Okay, so let's go into the delegation process now. So we found the ADAOZ pool that we want to delegate to, and we're going to click on Delegate. So there's two things that happen here. So one, because this is a brand new wallet, we have to register the wallet on the blockchain and provide a 2 ADA deposit. That deposit is refundable, and we can get that back, and I'll show you that in a moment as well. So the amount is that 2 ADA there, which is just highlighted, and then the rest of it here is the fee. So every transaction, every interaction with the blockchain, we need to pay some sort of fee. This fee is 0.174. So before, when we transferred the ADA, it was 0.19. So the traffic was a little bit higher. Now it's dropped, so it's 0.17. So that's cool. It's not a big difference. So here we're going to delegate all of our remaining ADA, which is, that's not my ADA. It's going to my stake pool here. That's the stake pool name. And that's an approximation of what I'll get back every epoch for my delegation of 7 ADA, which I have left after the fees are taken out. So let's go delegate. Oh, right, forgot. We are doing this via the Ledger Nano, so I actually have to interact with it. So here it is. I need to punch in a PIN. Yoroi is now telling me to do that, so I am going to enable this and load up the app again. Okay, pins in. I've logged onto the Ledger Nano and onto the Cardano app. So now I can continue this process. So make sure you're connected. Press continue when you're ready. Now this is a visual representation of what's going on, so you can flow through the steps and check what's going on with your Ledger Nano as well. So I'm seeing the exact same things that it's telling me to do in the various steps there. So I'm starting the new transaction. I'm looking at the transaction fee. So that transaction fee matches up. Let me just switch screen so you can see a couple of these things as well. So you can see that transaction fee matches up with what I said before, 0.17. And I'll just go through the next step. So it's telling me when this thing will happen as well. So it's happening in epoch 288 slot number. It's a large number. Can't even see it now. I've already pressed connect. So now we are registering our stake key. So this is the first time that we're doing this. So this is that 2 ADA deposit, and I'll just switch back so you can see that. So we're registering our stake key in this process. And I'm just going to confirm the transaction. And now it's telling me which pool I'm delegating to. It's a whole bunch of numbers, so I actually can't verify that on here because I don't know what my stake pool numbers are. Now I'm confirming the delegation, confirming the transaction as well. Doing its thing. Okay, great. So Yoroi is interacting now. Now it's waiting for commands on my ledger, so that's all done. Transaction signed, and there we go. We've delegated. We've delegated to the stake pool. So let's go back to the dashboard. Now there's a couple of things that happen here. We'll see our ADA total reduce by the amount of fees and deposit that we've just paid. And we'll also see here progress and updates of our upcoming rewards because we've just delegated to this particular stake pool, our stake pool, ADAOZ. So I'm going to hit the refresh button. The data should be fairly quick in this point. No, not yet. So it hasn't accepted it into that slot yet. So we're not seeing the activity. I'm going to check here. Okay, so that previous transaction that we did is now high. It's verified across the blockchain. That's all done. That's all sorted. But I want to see this next transaction here that says I have delegated to the ADAOZ stake pool. There we go. That took a little while. So that's the amount of ADA that is now delegated post delegation fees. And I can see that now I'm delegated to the ADAOZ stake pool. And here is where I'll see my rewards in the future. So as epochs pass, I'll see the rewards. Now, I've delegated just after an epoch switch, and it actually takes two additional epochs to register this through. So I'm not going to see any rewards for approximately 15 to 20 days until this all kicks in. Now, this is because of the the delegation process and how things work on chain. So now I've delegated my ADA. That's the first epoch. It's just in the ether, really. The next one is when it goes into a live state. So now that my ADA has been registered on an epoch switch over, which is in another 4 days. So in those 4 days, nothing happens. It's not gaining that interest. In 4 days' time, though, when the epoch switch is over, that will register my amount of ADA onto the pool. Now, the next epoch after, 5 days after, that goes into a live active state. So that's active delegation. You can see that on the Yoroi website. Let's go here. So we've got active stake. So that's the amount of ADA that's actually going to be included in this particular epoch, which is epoch 288. We got 10.8 million ADA. That's the amount of ADA that is going to be included into this epoch for its calculations for rewards. So now that's 2 epochs in, and it's only just being accepted into the network for minting and rewards. Now, the epoch after that, so that we're 3 epochs in, that's 15 days now. That's when your rewards are calculated, and then the epoch after that is when the rewards get distributed. So it's a bit of a process there. So first 4 days before the epoch snapshot, nothing happens. Then my ADA balance goes live. That's another 5 days. 5 days after that, next epoch snapshot, my delegation is now active. So 5 days after that, my rewards are then calculated. Then 5 days after that, the rewards are distributed. So that's 15 to 20 days that I have to wait before I see my first rewards. That just happens in that first process. After that, you'll see rewards every 5 days. And the amount of ADA that comes in from the rewards gets calculated into your total balance when the rewards are distributed in that 15-day period. Takes a couple of more days, a couple more epochs, to register that on-chain. It goes to that live active state process again. And then that is compounded again and again and again. So over time, your compounding does kick in. It just takes that long period of time at the beginning to get up and running. So now if I click on delegation list here, oh no, I don't need to click on that. That's it. That's it. We're all done. We are done. So that's it. Okay. We have set up the Yoroi wallet on a PC. With the Ledger Nano, everything is working as it should, which is absolutely fantastic. I didn't run into any security issues. Now, where you will run into some issues on a Windows machine is if you are using some of the firewalls. So if you're using a firewall, if you're using a virus scanner and something that's potentially blocking this from communicating to your computer itself, that is where you may have some issues. So have a look at what Windows Firewall is doing. You may need to disable it. Have a look at what antivirus software you're using. It may be flagging that there is a weird connection here and you may want to be disconnecting the device. So something may happen there. Other people have reported that they've connected it to ADA Lite and had some issues there. I don't want to go down that path because I have a feeling it may cause some more issues there, connecting the Ledger Nano and then trying to connect it to Yoroi after. So it's an interesting situation that some people are finding themselves in. But in terms of setting up the entire process from start to end, it was quite nice, quite flawless, really. Just took a little bit of time. So that's it. That's the entire process of going start to end, setting up a wallet on the Ledger Nano, setting up the Ledger Nano itself with the app, and then setting up the wallet on the Yoroi Lite wallet app for Cardano. Right. If you enjoyed this content and want to support the show, please make sure you check out our Cardano stake pool. Check it out, see if it is suitable for you. Would really appreciate the delegations and anything that you can put towards the pool. Check out our YouTube page. Obviously on it, click that like, subscribe button, hit the notification bell. You'll hear more from us soon. Check out the audio podcast. That is quite unique. It's a little bit different. I've also published it on YouTube as well, so you can find it there. And then of course, check out our blog with constantly updating it with resources and different bits of information in the Cardano ecosystem, so you can find out more about what's going on. All right. So until next time, everyone, keep that seed phrase safe, secure. Don't let anyone see it. One last community service, public service announcement. There is no such thing as an ADA giveaway. If you see these scams online, it is fake. Do not ever send your seed phrase to anyone or send ADA expecting more ADA back. It's just not a thing, okay? Right, stay safe.
Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast. Gotta get it hype. Crypto is what we like, but this is not investment or financial advice. Gotta do your research, cause it's risky. We know it is. This show is educational and it's informative. Crypto's the future, really, it ain't no debate.